For 11 years, she ironed his shirts. Every Sunday evening without fail. The ironing board set up in the bedroom while he watched television in the sitting room. Steam rising. The particular smell of hot cotton and effort. She pressed every collar carefully, every sleeve. She hung each shirt on its own hanger and arranged them in the wardrobe by color, the way he liked. She did this for 11 years. She did this during the good years, when she still believed everything he told her. She did this during the hard years, when the marriage needed more work than either of them admitted. And she did this during the 3 months she already knew. 3 months of ironing his shirts. 3 months of pressing the collars of a man who was betraying her. 3 months of hanging them carefully, arranging them by collar, closing the wardrobe door quietly so she would not wake him. Because that was who she was, and because she had not yet decided what to do about who he was. My name is Kelechi, and I am going to tell you about the woman I did not deserve, the one I lost, and the shirts I have ironed for myself every Sunday evening since. Badly, carelessly, nothing like she did them, as a reminder of exactly what my carelessness cost me.
But before I tell you how I lost her, I need to tell you something that I only found out much later. Something that still sits in my chest like a stone when I think about it at night. Every Sunday during those 3 months, Sola called her mother. Her mother lived in Ibadan, a warm, sharp woman who had raised 3 daughters alone after her husband died and knew her children the way only mothers who have had to pay very close attention know their children. Every Sunday, Sola called her. They spoke for 30 minutes sometimes, an hour sometimes. Her mother asked about the marriage the way mothers ask, carefully, from the side, never directly, but always listening for what was underneath the answer. And every single Sunday for 3 months, while she was carrying the heaviest thing she had ever carried, Sola said the same thing. Mama, I am fine. Everything is fine.
She never told her mother. Not once. Not a single Sunday. She protected her mother from the truth, the way strong women protect the people they love from things that would hurt them. She absorbed everything alone. She carried it in silence. She ironed his shirts and called her mother and said she was fine, and went to bed and woke up and did it all over again. I want you to think about what that costs a person. I want you to really sit with what it takes to love someone that completely. The husband you are protecting by not confronting him yet. The mother you are protecting by not burdening her, while carrying the weight of a betrayal that would have broken most people in a week. That is who Sola was. That is the woman I am going to tell you about. And that is the woman I lost. Now you know what kind of woman she was. So let me tell you who she was before I tell you what I did with her. Her name was Sola. Omowumi Solape Adeyemi, before she took my name. And even the way she held both names, her own and mine, with the same quiet grace she held everything, told you something about her character if you were paying attention. I was not always paying attention. She was a secondary school teacher in Surulere, biology. The kind of school where the classrooms held 40 students when they were built for 25, where the resources were inadequate, and the salary was an argument against the profession, and the dedication required to show up fully every single day was something most people could not sustain for a term, let alone a decade. Sola sustained it for 9 years. She knew every student by name, not just their names, their situations, the ones struggling at home, the ones who needed someone to tell them they were capable of something before they believed it themselves. The ones who just needed one adult to show up for them consistently. She stayed late 3 days a week, not because she was required to, because she understood that some things matter enough to do properly, regardless of whether anyone is watching or keeping score. She brought that same quality home. In the early years of our marriage, when I was building my career, the long hours, the stress, the weekends consumed by work, Sola built our home around my absence. Not with resentment, not with the particular martyrdom of someone who wants you to notice their sacrifice, just quietly, efficiently, lovingly, expanding to fill the space I left, so that when I came home, everything our life needed was already handled. She knew how I liked my food when I had a hard week. She remembered things I mentioned once and never repeated. The book I said I wanted to read, the place I passed and noticed, the song that came on the radio and made me go quiet for a moment. She wrote me notes sometimes, small ones on small pieces of paper. Not declarations, not performances, just the quiet evidence of someone thinking about you when you are not there. Saw this and thought of you. There is food in the warmer. You are worried about the meeting today. You will be fine. You always are. I found those notes. I smiled at them. I set them down. I did not keep them. I did not write back. And she never mentioned them again. Because she did not love me to get something in return. She loved me because that was what she had decided to do. Completely. Without condition. And she prayed for me. Every morning before I woke up. I know because I got her once, sitting at the edge of the bed in the Bray Lagos morning light, hands folded, speaking quietly. She did not know I was watching. That was the most important detail. She was not performing devotion. She was simply devoted. This is who I had. Now let me tell you what I did with her.
I need to say this carefully because I think it matters. I was not a monster. Monsters are recognizable. You can see them coming. You know what they are before they do what they do. There is a kind of terrible comfort in being betrayed by a monster because at least the story makes sense. What I was is harder to name and far more common and in some ways more dangerous than a monster. I was a good man who stopped paying attention. It happened the way all important failures happen. Not in one moment of decision. In 1,000 small moments of not deciding. Of choosing the path of least resistance, of telling myself that comfort was the same as contentment and that absence was the same as peace. In the early years, I was present, genuinely present. We talked late into the night about things that mattered and things that did not matter at all, and both kinds of conversation were evidence that we were actually living the same life. We argued about small things and made up easily. We made plans, and some of them we kept, and some of them we did not, and none of that felt like failure because we were doing it together. But as the career grew, as the promotions came, and the responsibilities expanded, and the social world surrounding professional success began to widen, I started to drift. Gradually, almost imperceptibly. I became less available at dinner, less curious about the details of her day, less interested in what she was thinking, feeling, building. The conversations that used to last until midnight shortened to 20 minutes, then 10, then the kind of exchange that is technically conversation, but is actually just two people confirming they still occupy the same space. I stopped seeing her. Not suddenly. The way you stop seeing a piece of furniture that has always been in the same corner. It does not disappear. You simply stop registering that it is there. Sola noticed. Of course she noticed. She was the most attentive person I have ever known in my life. Noticing was her nature. Feeling was her language. She felt the drift before I was even aware I was drifting. And she did what she always did. When something in her life needed attention, she tried to fix it. She suggested a weekend away. Just the two of us. Away from Lagos and work and the noise of a life that had become too crowded with things that were not us. I agreed. Then something came up at work and I cancelled. And I told her we would reschedule. And I believed myself when I said it. We did not reschedule. She planned a dinner at a restaurant we had loved in our early years. I arrived 40 minutes late with my phone in my hand and spent most of the meal distracted and came home feeling like I had done something generous by showing up at all. She left notes. I found them. I smiled. I set them down. She was reaching for me. I was not reaching back. And I told myself the lie that careless people tell themselves. To avoid the discomfort of honest self-examination. She understands. She knows how hard I am working. She knows it is not personal. She understood everything. She just needed me to show her that I knew she was there. And I did not show her. Not enough.
Not nearly enough.
And here is what I need you to know before I continue. Something I did not find out until much later. Something that rearranged everything I thought I understood about those years when I tell it to myself now. Every Sunday, during the years I was drifting, not just the 3 months, but the years before that too, Sola called her mother. 30 minutes, sometimes an hour. Her mother in Ibadan, asking questions from the side, the way mothers do. Listening for what was underneath every answer. Measuring the temperature of her daughter's life through the particular quality of her voice. And every Sunday, Sola said she was fine. She never told her mother about the notes I did not answer. She never told her mother about the dinner I arrived late to with my phone in my hand. She never told her mother about the weekends I cancelled or the conversations that shortened or the drift she could feel but could not name to anyone because naming it would make it more real than she was ready for it to be. She said she was fine. She protected her mother from the weight she was carrying alone. And then when the weight got heavier, when the 3 months arrived and she knew what she knew and was carrying something that no person should carry alone, she still called every Sunday. She still said she was fine. I think about that now. I think about Sola sitting alone with the heaviest knowledge of her life and picking up the phone and choosing to protect her mother from it. Not because she had no one to tell, but because she loved her mother too much to give her that pain. She was protecting everyone. Her mother from worry, me from confrontation, her marriage from whatever premature ending a confrontation might have caused before she was ready. She was holding everything together, alone. While ironing my shirts, while making my coffee, while praying over my life in the grey morning light, while saying she was fine. The strength of that woman, I do not have a word for it. That is large enough.
The other woman does not get a name in this story. Not because I am protecting her, but because giving her a name gives her significance she was never really the point of. She was a symptom. The disease had been growing in me for years before she appeared. Growing in every cancelled plan, every shortened conversation, every note I set down without answering. She did not create the distance between me and Sola. She simply occupied it. I knew it was wrong. I want to say that plainly because I think men sometimes tell stories about their own failures in ways that blur their own clarity. I was not confused. I was not swept away by something beyond my control. I did not stumble into anything. I made a choice. A clear, conscious, inexcusable choice. And I made it again and again for 7 months. During those 7 months, Sola continued to be exactly who she had always been. She ironed my shirts, she made my coffee, 1 sugar, no milk. She taught her students and came home tired and still found something to give. She asked about my days with genuine interest. She prayed over my life in the morning before I woke up. She was there, completely, faithfully, quietly there, while I was somewhere else entirely. She knew for 3 months before she said anything. I found this out later, much later, after everything had already happened. 3 months of knowing. 3 months of ironing shirts and making coffee and calling her mother and saying she was fine. 3 months of deciding. Not 3 months of being weak. 3 months of being strong in a way I will never fully understand. Deciding what she was going to do. Deciding who she was going to be on the other side of this. Deciding whether the marriage was worth one more attempt before she made the choice that could not be unmade. She gave me 3 months of grace I did not know I was receiving, and I used that time to continue betraying her.
She chose a Sunday evening. Of course it was a Sunday. Sunday was her day. The ironing, the phone call to her mother, the particular rhythm of a woman who had learned to find structure in small rituals when the larger structure of her life was failing her. She waited until after dinner. She washed the dishes first. I remember that detail specifically because I have thought about it many times since. She washed the dishes before she had the conversation. She was not impulsive, she was not performing, she was completing what needed to be completed and then sitting down to do the next necessary thing. She sat across from me at the kitchen table, hands folded in front of her, voice completely steady. Kelechi, I need you to tell me the truth about something.
and in her voice, in the specific quality of a woman who has already arrived somewhere and is now simply waiting for you to catch up, I understood before she finished the sentence that there was no version of this conversation I could lie through. I told her the truth. She listened without interrupting, without crying, without moving. The stillness of someone who already knew the answer and needed only the confirmation to close a door she had been standing at for 3 months. When I finished, she was quiet for a long time. Then she said, "Thank you for telling me." She stood up. She finished the remaining dishes. She went to bed, and I sat alone at that kitchen table in the silence she left behind, and felt for the first time in a very long time the full weight of who she was and what I had done with it.
What happened next surprised me. She did not leave immediately. I think some part of me had been bracing for an explosion, for the confrontation and the door and the dramatic finality of a leaving that announced itself. Some part of me had decided that whatever came next would be loud. But Sola did not do anything loudly. She spent 2 weeks in the same house, the same routine, being exactly who she had always been, except for one thing. The warmth was gone. Not replaced by coldness, just absent. Like a light switched off so quietly, you cannot identify the exact moment the room changed. You look up one day and the room is different and you cannot say when it happened. She was not cruel. She did not punish me with scenes or silence or the performative suffering of someone who wants to be seen suffering. She was simply no longer reaching. And in those 2 weeks, with the terrible clarity that arrives too late for useful men, I finally understood what the reaching had been. The notes, the planned dinners, the suggested weekends, the questions about my day asked with genuine interest, even when the day had given her nothing to be interested in. Those had not been the small gestures of a contented woman. They had been a woman fighting for her marriage with every quiet tool available to her. And I had not fought back. I tried in those 2 weeks with the frantic energy of a man who has only understood the value of something at the precise moment it is being taken from him.
I came home early. She acknowledged it with the polite warmth of someone who has moved past the point where coming home early means anything. I brought flowers. She put them in water. She said they were beautiful. She did not look at me the way flowers are supposed to make someone look at you. I sat beside her and said I was sorry. She said she knew I was sorry, in the voice of a woman who believed it, and had also understood that sorry and different are two entirely separate things, and one does not automatically produce the other. On a Thursday morning, 14 days after that Sunday kitchen table conversation, I woke up and her side of the bed was made, with a neatness that told me it had not been slept in. There was a letter on the kitchen table. I will not share all of it. Some things belong only to the people they were written between. But the last 3 sentences I will carry for the rest of my life. She wrote, "I did not leave because I stopped loving you. I left because I finally understood that love alone cannot hold a marriage together when only one person is holding it. I hope you find what you are looking for. I genuinely do. Because I spent 11 years hoping for good things for you and I do not know how to stop." She was gone before I finished reading. I stood in that kitchen alone, and I thought about the shirts, pressed and hanging in the wardrobe by color, including during the 3 months she already knew.
People think the hardest part of losing someone is the moment of loss, the confrontation, the leaving, the door. They are wrong. The hardest part is the Tuesday morning, 6 weeks later, when you reach for your phone to tell her something small, something that happened at work, something you saw on the road, something that would have made her laugh. And then your hand stops. Because there is no her to tell anymore. Not because she's dead. She is alive, somewhere in this same city, living a life that no longer contains you, teaching her students, calling her mother on Sundays, giving her full, complete attention to the life she is building now, that she is no longer carrying the weight of a man who did not see her. But she is not yours anymore. And the small things, the Tuesdays, are where the loss lives. Not at Christmas, not at birthdays, not at the significant occasions you can brace for. The Tuesday mornings, the coffee made for one sugar, no milk.
Made correctly for the first time in your life, because there is nobody else to make it for. They drive to work without the 10-minute phone call that was not about anything important and was about everything important.
The wardrobe in the morning, the shirts hanging in no particular order now because there's nobody to arrange them by color. Nobody to press the colors. Nobody who cared enough about the small details of your daily life to spend a Sunday evening making sure you started the week properly. The prayers. I missed the prayers most of all. I am not an especially spiritual man. I was not then. But there is something about knowing that someone is in the gray morning light speaking good things over your life. Something that makes the day feel held before it has even started. Something you do not know is happening until the day it stops happening, and the mornings start to feel different in a way you cannot explain to anyone. I tried to explain it to a friend once. He looked at me blankly. He did not understand. How could he understand? You cannot understand what a thing costs until you have paid the price of losing it. I heard about her life in pieces. She was well, still teaching. She had moved to Lekki. She had started a weekend tutoring program for students who could not afford extra lessons, running it from her own apartment on Saturday mornings, free of charge, because she had decided that the thing she was best at should be given to the people who needed it most.
She seemed at peace. That word, at peace. Every person who mentioned her used it. And every time I heard it, it rearranged something in my chest. The woman I had kept in a state of quiet endurance for years was at peace now that I was no longer there to take her for granted. I had to sit with that. It took a long time to sit with it, honestly, without flinching. 18 months after she left, I heard she was seeing someone. A man who brought flowers without a reason, who showed up when he said he would, who kept her notes. She had written him a note once, something small, and he had kept it. I thought about every note I had set down. Somewhere in a house she no longer lived in, those notes had been thrown away, with the ordinary things that accumulate in a life and get discarded when the life changes direction. She had tried to love me in the language she knew. I had not learned to receive it. Now someone else was keeping her notes. I sat in a car park for 45 minutes and could not make myself go into the building.
2 years after she left, I saw her. Not planned. A Saturday afternoon in a supermarket in Lekki. She was at the end of an aisle with a basket, reading a label with the focused attention she brought to everything. The same attention she had brought to my shirts and my coffee and my prayers and my notes and every small detail of my daily life for 11 years. She looked up. We looked at each other. For one moment, just one, she smiled. Not a performance, not a social reflex. The genuine, involuntary smile of a face that spent 11 years being glad to see mine before it remembered that it no longer had reason to be. The smile adjusted, became something warmer and more deliberate, more careful. Kelechi, Sola. 8 minutes in that aisle. The particular grief of two people who used to know every detail of each other's internal weather, making careful surface-level conversation. She was well. The tutoring program had grown. She had started charging a small fee and using the money to fund scholarships for the students who still could not afford it. She talked about it with the specific aliveness that comes into a person's face when they are talking about something that is completely and fully theirs.
I looked at her, standing in that aisle, with her basket and her full life and her peace. And I understood something I had not been capable of understanding before. I had not lost a wife. I had lost the person who made me the best version of myself without ever asking me to acknowledge what she was doing. I had lost the prayers. I had lost the notes. I had lost the Sunday evenings, and the shuts pressed carefully, and the coffee made exactly right, and the phone calls that were not about anything important and were about everything important. And I had lost them the way you lose things when you do not understand their value, completely, irreversibly, through your own hands, in your own time, with your eyes open. "It is good to see you," I said. And I meant it in a way that contained everything I could not say in 8 minutes in a supermarket aisle, 2 years after I had thrown away 11 years of being loved quietly. "It is good to see you too," she said. The smile again, warm, careful, the smile of a woman who has made her peace with me, with what happened, with herself, and has nothing left to prove or protect.
She walked to the next aisle. I stood there alone, holding nothing and thinking about the shirts. I am still Kelechi, finishing this story. I am not stepping outside of it to give you a lesson because I do not think that is how real lessons work. Real lessons do not arrive as separate events. They arrive inside the story. Inside the ordinary Tuesday mornings and the Sunday evenings and the supermarket aisles. Inside the shirts hanging in no particular order in a wardrobe that used to be arranged by color. So let me just tell you what I know now that I did not know then. There is a particular kind of love that this world does not understand until it is gone. It does not announce itself. It does not demand recognition. It does not threaten to leave or perform its devotion for an audience or keep score of what it has given and what it has received in return. It simply shows up. Every day, in the iron shirt and the correct coffee and the note on the small piece of paper and the prayer spoken quietly in the grey morning light by someone who will never tell you they said it. This kind of love is not weakness.
It is the rarest and most complete form of strength that one person can offer another. And if you are a man listening to this, if somewhere in this story you have heard something that sounds like your own life, your own drift, your own 1,000 small moments of not reaching back, I need you to stop. Not tomorrow. Now, look at the woman beside you. Not the role she plays in your daily life, not the function she serves in the machinery of your shared existence. The actual woman. The one who is reaching for you in ways you may not have the eyes to see yet. She is doing things right now that you are not noticing. She is carrying things she has not told you about. She is loving you in a language you may not have learned to receive. Learn it. Before the Sunday evenings go quiet. Before the shirts are yours alone to press. Before you are standing in a supermarket aisle 8 minutes into the first conversation you have had in 2 years and understanding for the first time everything that was in every note you set down without answering.
And if you are a woman listening to this, if you are Sola, if you have been ironing his shirts and making his coffee and calling your mother every Sunday and saying you are fine when you are carrying something that is slowly becoming too heavy to carry alone, I want you to hear something clearly. What you do is not invisible. Even when the person you are doing it for cannot see it. Even when they set your notes down without answering. Even when they arrive late and leave early and drift further every month while you reach further every month to close the distance. It is not invisible. It registers somewhere. It builds something in you, a strength, a character, a knowledge of your own worth that no one's carelessness can take away. But you also deserve to be received completely by someone who keeps your notes, by someone who notices the shirts, by someone who wakes up one morning and realizes without being told that you prayed over their life before they opened their eyes and understands what that means. You deserve that person.
And if the person you are with is not becoming that person, that is information. Not a reason to become someone you are not, but information about whether the love you are giving is landing somewhere it can grow or disappearing into a space that would never fully receive it. I think about Sola on Tuesdays. I do not know why Tuesdays. Maybe because nothing special happens on a Tuesday. No occasion, no event, no reason to feel anything in particular. Just the ordinary texture of a life. And the ordinary texture of a life shared with a woman who loved me quietly every single day is the thing I did not know I was living inside until the day I was outside of it, looking in through a supermarket window at a woman walking to the next aisle. If I could go back, I would not go back to a grand moment. I would go back to a Sunday evening. I would sit beside her while she ironed. I would say nothing for a while. And then I would say, I see what you do for me, and I am grateful. And I am not going to let you say you are fine when you are not. Not anymore. That is all.
Just that. And I think everything might have been different. Before you leave this video, I need you to do one thing. Think of the person in your life who loves you quietly. The one who shows up without announcing it. The one who irons the shirts, makes the coffee, and says they are fine when they are carrying something heavy. The one whose love you have possibly stopped noticing because it has always been there. Call them today. Not a text, a call. And when they answer, do not start with logistics or plans. Start with this. I just called to tell you that I see what you do and I am grateful. Just that. And watch what it does to them.
Tell me in the comments, have you ever loved someone quietly for years and felt invisible doing it? Have you ever been Kelechi and only understood what you had when the ordinary Tuesdays went silent? Or are you watching this right now, sitting next to someone whose notes you have been setting down and feeling something shift as you listen? Whatever your answer is, write it below. I am reading every comment personally. And if this story is for someone you know, someone who needs to hear today that their quiet love is not weakness, that what they do every day is seen, even when it feels invisible, share this with them right now. Subscribe, a new story every week. And until next time, see the people who love you quietly. Before the Tuesdays go silent, see you in the comments.